Welcome to my channel. I love all Amber. And today we are going to do another reaction video, but this time the YouTuber is personality trainer, but he is conducting a panel interview with Frank James and Joyce Meng. I hope I pronounced her last name well. Sorry if I didn't. So Frank is a standard INFJ while Joyce is a jumper. And I'm going to be honest with my viewers. I just typed myself as a blast last person as of January this year. So before this year, I was trying to figure out if I was blast last or play last. I self-typed myself for I think 2 years or more as an INFJ, but I wasn't sure which one of my extroverted animals were last. So I think I go ahead and thought of myself as a play last INFJ. But then I look at my life and I see the problems that were occurring. So in INFJ, their first two functions are NIFE. And to me, that means a lot of things, but it also means motivation. And I realized that I struggle a lot with motivation. That is my tidal wave. And there's other tidal waves too, in combination to not having the proper self-motivation. So I hope you guys understand where I am coming from. And I will explain more about this in the future. But for right now, we are going to compare and contrast, see what the difference is, and more. Is there anything else I want to say or add? Let me see. Oh, yes, I remember. So Joyce and me are both jumpers and we have the same ordering of animals, but I'm double masculine and she's double feminine. Frank is also double feminine. So I am curious to see where I can relate and where I can't relate with each person. Oh, and the person behind this YouTube channel, personality trainer, his name is Kendrick. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name. It's probably pretty easy. Let me try. Kendrick Uy. And yeah, I watch each YouTuber videos. They're all pretty insightful, and I'm very happy to have a lot to watch and deeply process for myself. So let's go ahead and start.
Right here. So I don't mind. Yeah, you are. So go take it, man. Okay, yeah. All right. So pros and cons of Tribe Above Self. Well, as as I mentioned before we hit record, when I was trying to think of the pros of being Savior DE, I'm like, I don't I don't know that there are any. So if I had to come up with one thing, I think that, when you are looking at the spectrum,
Oh, and I'm a few minutes into the video. Just earlier, Joyce mentioned how the reason basically she was explaining why she had the background that she does right now, and I was thinking to myself that I like it. But then something happened in the video, and so I had to like start all over. So we're 2 minutes in, and yes.
the tribe, they're going to be right a lot of the time, so there's a little bit more safety there, I think, like if you're kind of going along with basing your decisions off of that. So maybe theoretically the DEs don't uh, go too far out uh, on a limb and make a fool of themselves. I don't know. I don't know that. I think in my like in a practical sense on YouTube, I don't push the envelope very much. So in some ways, maybe I play it too safe, but in other ways, I'm not shooting myself in the foot, I guess, by offending the tribe or doing something that they wouldn't like or sticking with something they wouldn't like too much. As far as the cons go, especially with TI Demon, I think it's like I feel like I'm wrong all the time. So it's like I know what I think will work, but as soon as other people,
So, as a saver sleep, but my TI is feminine, I can relate because growing up, I felt like I was wrong in my thinking. Frank is double masculine in his sleep, but he's still a standard INFJ. So, yeah, that's very interesting.
are like, oh, actually, this other thing's better. I'm like, okay, you said to do this. Let's do this other thing. So there's like a constant doubt of yourself.
So in your channel, do you see yourself making videos specifically that the tribe wants? Since you're tribal of self, you pick the most popular one and then you focus on those.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I mean, I think you have to have a balance of both because I do enjoy what I do. I like the content that I create, and I don't make stuff where I'm like, oh, I hate this, but other people like it. But it is, you have to play into what people like. So yeah.
right, gotcha. And what about you, Joyce?
Yeah, the pros to being south above tribe is that if there's a Nazi regimen, then you're not one of the Nazis because you don't go along with the group. Or at least you need to be the final authority to
That's
prove that
crazy.
to be true. And so it's like, all right, I'm gonna see if this makes sense to me.
I'm saying that's crazy. I'm not calling her that, but but that's nice to know.
Before I adopt this. And so that the pro of it is that you don't go along with bad tribe decisions. And the con of it,
So in my last reaction video, I mentioned how I was jealous that he's double masculine sleep for Frank, but for Joyce, she's savior double masculine. And it only shows up, it's not, it only shows up once in the sense of she's blast last. So just like me, her, well, from my perspective, her TI is activated 3 times. One with the masculine and 2 times with the consume aspect of it. But I'm also jealous that she's masculine sleep first. And I would like to be that.
you can be a little bit stubborn because it has to make sense to you first for you to change how you think about something. So you're waiting until there's a convincing enough argument, at least to you, that you can reason out for yourself before you sway yourself. And so you can be a bit of a wall sometimes if you're self above tribe. Like you won't move for the tribe, especially if you're masculine.
So with my saver sleep, I do move often for the tribe. But I'm a wall in a sense of in the sense of I'm not convinced, but I'm still able to move though. I'm like a moving wall, and that's what suck. But I really like how she's able to 100% stand firm, be a wall. For me, I have to build that up based on my experience and what I had to learn about myself. So, yeah.
The TI, if until you yourself are convinced to the core.
Gotcha. I think this is the perfect segue to my next question. So Frank was mentioning earlier that he second guesses himself, especially with that TI as a demon. So my next question to you guys is the FE and TI axis, okay? The good thing about both of you guys is you're both double feminine.
Hold on. Maybe I'm confused. Let me scroll a little bit down, a little bit down. Okay. Yeah, he's play last. His TI isn't that much of a demon. It's his FE that's the most demon aspect of him, based on this right here. INFJ, NIFE, but yet his FE, he's still able to be, and his SE, and his SE is low too. So the first time his SE shows up is right at the C. And so, yeah, but they mention a lot about him having demon TI. And it's true, it is a demon, but not really. With the S, with the sleep and the consume. Consume third, but I don't know. Just like in my stacking of animals, I'm all over the place in theory and in and in real life. This is also all over the place. Like his FE is also a demon because he's play last. So there's an aspect, like yes, he can't see the values, but there's just something he's not seeing for himself as well, if that makes sense. Anyways, back to the video.
Your sexual modalities are exactly the same. In which case you both have feminine extrovert feeling. So and masculine introvert thinking. So my question for you guys when it comes to this axis.
Ooh, the exciting part. Can't wait. A masculine feeling. FE masculine. And not only that, he can't see his. Okay, so since his FE is feminine, there's just something, in theory, there's just something he's not seeing. Okay, even if he's a standard INFJ, he will still struggle with the FE because it's feminine and he only has one feminine FE he's using. And he has two masculine TIs that he's using way more than his FE. So I'm basically arguing, is there another way of looking at this that makes sense when it comes to his stacking based on what he is what he's established as? I hope I'm making sense because I don't even know what else to say, to be honest.
When it comes to extrovert feeling, being feminine for both of you, do you feel like your emotions are easily moved? And how do you personally relate to that saying where you
Okay, let me see. Right now, my reaction time has went on for 14 minutes, and this video, I'm only 5 minutes in. Oh my goodness, it's an hour long? I did not realize that. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to react. Let me see. I'm gonna make 4 parts reaction. So I'm only gonna react up to 20 minutes. And then part 2, I'll go up to like I'll just keep adding. I'll do the remainders in 20 minutes intervals. So yeah.
Emotions are easily moved, and you mirror tribe's emotions, and it's easy for you to cry, smile, whatever the tribe is doing, you can mirror. And the next thing though is the masculine TI. So with TI, what I heard with people with TI is that one of the most important thing for you guys is respect.
Yes.
So now for Frank, you have Demon TI and Savior FE, and then Joyce is the opposite. So you can also talk about the pros and cons of that as well. So let's go with you first, Frank. Let's start with FE first, and then you can go with TI after.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that my emotions are pretty easily moved, and I think the other part of the feminine feeling is um, like what you mentioned, like the reflectiveness of other people's emotions, and kind of like it's like trying to go along with it because you don't want to have like a disharmony between uh, other people's feelings and yours, or it's like you're trying to validate their feeling with yours, even if you're not interiorly interior. I don't know what the word. Feeling it on the inside, it's like, okay, let me now reflect it to you outwardly. But it's interesting because I've noticed that people who have people who are blast play, like the play extroverted feelers, like it looks a lot different. It looks way more um, uh, movable. But when you get a blast sleep, even with feminine FE, I've just seen in a lot of people where it's like a lot, even though they are, and I am like moving a lot with the emotions, it's not as over the top as the feminine FE blast play. Uh, then the second part of the question with TI masculine and respect. Yeah, that's an interesting one because yeah, I think it's respect for my way. Like, hey, I did this thing. I want you to look at that and be like, you did that the right way.
That's a good
You found the
explanation.
best way. You thought it through, and yeah, you're doing a good thing there, and being respected for that, for the work. I guess I don't know, for the accomplishment of what I figured out.
Right.
Hi, Ari. I'm your personal tutor. We have lots to cover.
I'm sorry.
Um, let's go with Joyce next.
Yeah, so with feminine FE, it can overlap a lot with Enneagram 9 descriptions. So whenever someone tells me
That makes
they're
sense.
Enneagram 9, I automatically assume that they might have feminine DE like traits, like going along with other people and kind of smoothing things over, not wanting to rock the boat with the tribe. So you're flowing with the tribe, you're going with the tribe. And I think that you have a quality when you have feminine FE of when you don't have to cause
I may need to hide that ad, but I'm not sure. It's like right there.
conflict, you won't cause conflict. So there's a conflict aversion to it too. And so unnecessary conflict is to be avoided. And with TI in the masculine slot, what can be hard is sometimes people just telling you, oh, your logic's wrong, and then not considering all the good points that you had. It's like, wait, but I thought it through so well. You didn't address all of those premises that I had that were amazing. You just told me I was wrong.
In my opinion, those kind of people annoy me. If I'm going to be straight, those people annoy me so much. They say you're wrong and they don't explain how you're wrong. And they don't go through the logic process with you to explain why they think you're wrong. They just say you're wrong. And then sometimes I think they just say it based on their ego and not because you're actually wrong. A lot of the time, a lot a lot of the times when people told me they think I'm wrong, I think about what they say, I go home, I process it, and then I realize, you know what? I am never going to listen to. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm mad right now. I'm joking in a way, but at the same time, it just made me realize, listen, it's okay to have different opinions, but no, you are wrong, and I'm going to carry on thinking how I'm thinking. And I don't regret that at all. But they would tell me I'm wrong, and then I would stay days and months thinking about it too. About, man, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's okay to be wrong. And it's okay to have a thinking that differs from other people.
And so when people just glance over my thoughts, it's like, but you missed all the layers of amazingness. It was a
Sometimes people just don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. And once started processing that for myself, I started to not give a damn in return.
crab cake and you just ate the first layer of the crab and you didn't even give it a shot. And so there can be that offense when people just kind of immediately tell you no or wrong without looking at why you thought your argument through, I guess. And then there is
And honestly, at this point, I would say that's part of life. Look at that. We're 10 minutes into this video and my reaction time is 22 minutes. Okay. I think this will be the last video I'll react from Personality Trainer. I watch a lot of his videos and I will continue to watch a lot of his videos. But yeah.
what else did you ask, Kendrick?
Have your feminine extrovert feeling.
Oh yes, feminine extroverted feeling. Yeah, I think some of the pros of that is that you can make a lot of people like you because you're a chameleon. And so with different groups or different types of people, you're just good at getting on their good side because you don't punch the group. And so people like people who don't punch them. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. I have a follow-up question for the TIFE axis based on what you guys have said. So for Frank, I saw you were kind of like, you think things through and you want respect for your way, right? When you have the demon swing with a TI, the masculine TI comes out to like, someone disrespecting you, like one of those TE jerks, what do you how do you punch back, or do you not punch back? You are play last after all. So.
Yeah, I mean, me punching back is usually sort of just like, I don't know, kind of just it's not so much an active thing. It's just sort of like taking away the layer of softening what I'm saying and just saying like, well, I don't know, I guess it comes out where it's just like I'm being uh, blunt. It's weird. Like when I feel like when people expect you to be nice all the time, like when that's the pattern you have displayed, suddenly when you are just, it's not like you're rude, you're just saying something very plainly, they're like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, my wife will be like, wow, you were being rude right now. It's like, I just said what I thought, but I didn't frame it in a nice way. Like the words themselves were not rude, but I guess I just said what I thought very bluntly. So maybe that's probably a demon swing there where it's like, no, I just, the truth has to come out, what I think.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I like the access of the FETI because FE is the nicest sounding, but TI is the harshest sounding. So, like both of you guys have that in you. You can be the nicest person or like the harshest person. And the TI truth that is like that punches. Like that's like a low blow right there once you get hit by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one who died
No.
loves toys.
How should I do this? I don't know what happens, but I don't plan on monetizing this video, so.
Look at this amazing demonstration.
All right. Joyce, you have the opposite swing from Frank. Okay, because you live in TI land, right? So your swing is feminine FE, and David Chan calls it the sissy swing. So how do you personally relate to that? Like, when you get that, that swing to your FE, your feminine FE.
Interesting. Yeah, with that swing, what happens is when people try to help me too much and their help is not very helpful, it can be very annoying. So I know some savior TEs that really care about me, and sometimes they offer too much help. And it's like, well, all right, that is a lot of help. And sometimes it can get annoying because it's
Relatable.
I already have it handled. And so like when they offer more than that, it's like they're making it more difficult than it had to be. So then I
Yes.
get annoyed and I can snap.
That's a very nice way to say it.
Sissy swing might come in. How do you define the sissy swing?
Like you become like a wimp, like start crying, or like hiding, or like I don't know. Like I don't have feminine FE, but that's why I'm asking you.
So when I do a swing, what does that mean? I know it's not sissy. I know it's not sissy swing. But it's also not. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it a demon swing. Demon emotion swings. That's the best way to explain it. Because of the double masculine with the FE and the SE, it's just gonna punch you. And I just did a swing live on this reaction video. So you guys got an example of me doing a swing. And I apologize for swinging. I wish I was more sublime, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so meltdowns. That would be quite an interesting thing to go into. I can get into a pissy mood sometimes when people don't take my NTing well. So let's take, for example, like I'm giving them a well thought through response. And it's almost like you're handing them an origami piece. And it's like this beautifully made origami piece with all the delicate folds. So it's been folded like 200 times into this beautiful piece. And then someone just steps on it and they're like, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna go on to another topic too. So they not only disregard the TI, but they also disregard the NI because I wanted to stay with that topic. And they also just went to a completely different topic. And they also didn't consider what I had to say. So I can get a bit snapping turtle like in mood. And that could be a little bit.
That's good.
Like, yes.
Yeah. I think the biggest example is what happened to your internet and power this morning. I think that's like the best example of your sissy swing. Like you told me you had a meltdown, right?
I really did, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So since you were talking about NT, I want to ask you guys about your lead animal. Okay, so Joyce, you are NT, and Frank, you are NF. So you're both INFJs, but oh my God, an INFJ cannot be an NF. Holy crap! Like that. People might be like, that's blasphemy. Because like INFJ and NF is like hand in hand. That's like a thing, right? So, I want to go with Joyce first for this one. So you are NT first, and then Frank, you are NF first. NT is correlated with figuring things out, but how do you personally perceive it, Joyce? Being like a lead NF person.
Yeah, it feels like you're always curious about the mysteries of the universe. It's like you can never get enough of trying to understand the world more. Like, what does this really mean?
I like that answer.
And so
I can
when you try to
relate.
puzzle out what gives the world significance, or you'll have like a piece of information, but you'll try to figure out the depth behind it. And so everything becomes a puzzle to be solved. And so there's this intellectual and cerebral element to NI and TI working together. You can always feel like you want to understand the logical links between things. And so it's this desire to figure out the theoretical intricacies that underlay existence. And that's what gives you nutrition and sustenance. It's like an itch that you always want to scratch, the NT itch of understanding things more deeply.
All right. Well, as a fellow NT, I can relate to what you're saying. For Frank, you are lead NF. You're not quite the traditional INFJ though. You're play last. You are like a, INFJ is one of the things that, the stereotype for INFJ is like, I'm the special type. I'm the rarest type there is.
Yeah.
But Frank, your type is actually the rarest type. Because the other INFJ types, they're actually like, since David Chen kind of started typing people, there's a lot of INFJs.
I am shocked when I learned that a regular INFJ is rare. That's crazy. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I'm not saying this in the sense of I want to be a regular INFJ. I say that in the sense of that kind of makes me sad in a way. But let me continue listening.
Yeah.
But yours actually the genuine, yours a genuine rare type, right? There's like I've only interviewed like 2 of you guys,
Yeah.
and even then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the very specific exact 512 type, there's not many people who have received that. Yeah, I was even talking to Dave once and I was like, who else is my type? And he was like, it's not.
That's really interesting. Here, I'm gonna wait, how many minutes I'm into this video? Oh, we got 3 minutes left. And let me see. And my reaction time is 30 minutes long. Okay. Let me look something up real quick. I'm not gonna do it on the screen, but I was surprised to learn that regular INFJs are rare. Let me see. And what are the chances? So if you look at the spectrum, let me see. And if you take out the sexual modalities and look at the INFJ spectrum, there's like 8 different combination to be an INFJ. And the chance of a person to be frank ordering of animals is like 1 out of the 8 types. And that's crazy. And even then, and this is based on theory. I mean, real life is completely different, but in theory, if we live in a perfect world and we have a set number of INFJ, it will be 1/8 being frank animal of ordering, which is pretty interesting. And to be an INFJ jumper and be like Joyce and me and have the same ordering of animals, it is also 1/8 of a chance if we live in a perfect world, in theory. So, yeah, that's very, very interesting. For a regular INFJ, looking at all the INFJ spectrum, it's basically, let me see, 1/4. 1/4, yeah. It's 1/4 of the population if we live in a perfect world. And to be play last, regardless if you're a standard or a jumper INFJ and we live in a perfect world, it would be 3 out of 8. So I don't know. I just want to put that out there because I found it interesting.
And it's like he was like, okay, I could name some people who are like the same animal stack and saviors, but it's like masculine sensory or the visual version. So it's like it's tough to find the play last double feminine NIFE. Yeah, so I'm special. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So to jump in and just answer the question about the lead NF, assuming that is what
But then again, that should be expected, actually. Yeah, that should be expected. It should be expected that it will be hard to find a regular INFJ with his order of animal stackings. Just looking at the INFJ spectrum photo that Dave and Shen have on their YouTube channel. Okay. And I remember a long time ago, I was watching a video. It was probably in their, I probably watched that video within their website. And they were talking about, ooh, am I allowed to say this? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Basically, it was about how often the certain type of sexual modality shows up in a population. So but yeah, Frankie is special. He is very special for sure. 100%.
where you wanted me to go with that.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah. I guess it's the way that I've always, or not always, but once once I learned about introverted intuition, I realized, oh, what I have been doing my whole life is finding a new situation and being like, how is this the same as something that I've already seen before? Like, how's everything basically the same thing? And then when you add the feeling on top of that,
Basically, the abstract or the concept. He's organizing his abstract and conceptual experience and explaining it in a way that makes sense to him because he feels something familiar. So that makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, I did not know the meaning. Just like him, I did not know what NI is, or I did not realize I was trying to organize my experience based on abstract before I've met the MBTI community.
it's really concentrated on the emotional side of things, and so it makes a person very interested in like how how is everyone kind of the same? How is everyone having the same reactions to things based, or why is it different based on these other things? I think that's like where the interest in typology comes from. But anything that has to do with psychology and like I have a book that's like how to read anyone and things like that, where it's like I need to figure out what is the one thing. There's like a one thing more that I have to figure out before I can understand like everything about everyone, because the NI wants to make it so simple that it's like you just one more piece in there, you've got it.
And I may be just putting words in his mouth, because even if the situation is not the same, I mean, it is possible for an NI dominant to like still try to search for the similarities, even though they did not perceive it to be any similarities, or they didn't feel it like intuitive feel, not like regular feelings. They didn't actually intuitively feel that there were similarities between different situation or environments. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Oh, yeah, I don't, that was like a weird NF way of describing NF that probably didn't make any sense. But in a
It made
practical way,
sense.
that is what's tough about being NF, is that people are like, don't know what you just said. And I'm like, okay.
Mm, yeah. Oh, look at that. I stopped at the 20-minute mark. Yay. Okay. So I will react more to this video. I'm gonna try to post this. Hopefully I don't get a strike because of the advertisement. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy this video and have a wonderful day. And you are welcome to Love All Amber 2 with me. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.